In this video, we're going to talk about weightlifting belts, how you use one correctly, and why you need one. We'll discuss what exercises weightlifting belts work best for, and when in your workout you should put one on. We'll also discuss important features of weightlifting belts, so if you're in the market to buy one, this is a great video. This will help you. Stick around to the end because that's where we'll discuss our recommendations of what we use and where to get one. Hi, I'm Dr. Dan from Beau Dr. Our channel is devoted to helping people of all ages train, grow, and thrive. This video is about training. Today we're talking about an essential piece of personal equipment. It's your weightlifting belt. When I first started lifting, there was not internet, YouTube. I didn't know how to use a weightlifting belt. I started out with a belt that looked like this. It was a tapered belt, big in the back and small in the front. And despite using it, I hurt my back with it on multiple occasions. I didn't know how to use a weightlifting belt. I didn't know what it was for. I started out bodybuilding and I just didn't have anybody to follow or learn from. When I discovered powerlifting, I fell in love with powerlifting. Powerlifting is where I learned how to use the belt. Unfortunately, I didn't have the genetics to take powerlifting very far. Despite this, I competed at a fairly high level for a long time. I did so because my best friend, his name was Brandon Matney, he was about 6 years younger than me, but at 275 body weight, he was really strong. He could squat 1,000, his pull was 720, and he could bench 675. So I was his coach, and we had a great time training and lifting together for a long time. But it allowed me to meet and train with and learn from some of the top strength athletes of the time. And so that experience, plus 30 years of what I now understand about spinal biomechanics from being a chiropractor, is what is behind all of this information in this video today.
Hi, I'm Dr. Beau. You know, a weightlifting belt is an essential piece of equipment that you really are going to need, and for many reasons. Number one, it's going to be part of all your future strength gains, but it's also going to be part of all the changes that you're going to make in your body. And when you consider getting a belt, there's a lot of considerations, and it's going to help protect you from also spinal injuries, which is the big one, and it's going to give you a significant advantage. Besides helping you get stronger, the right weightlifting belt will help save you not only from injury, but that's also based on assuming that you understand how and when to use the belt, as well as knowing which belt to use. Unfortunately, all weightlifting belts are not created equal. So you have different sizes, you have different buckles, different clasps. They're not all the same. So knowing which one to use is also going to help you tremendously in moving forward. That's assuming, however, you watch the rest of the video. So if you're a beginner and don't have a belt yet, this will be a great buyer's guide for you to know what to buy. However, if you happen to be an intermediate weightlifter or you're advanced, stay to the end because there's a lot of gyms that we may cover that may be beneficial for you. So what does a weightlifting belt do and how does it work?
So most people think that weightlifting belts are to help your back. It's correct, but only if you activate them. So you have to activate a weightlifting belt. It means you have to do something extra to make it work. If you just put it on, it helps, but there's an activation step to really get the most out of it. What you do, you put it on semi-tight, but then when you activate it, you're going to pull breath into the belly and brace the belly and push it into the belt. That's how you make it work. You can test it by putting a finger in there, and if it's hard to pull your finger out, you're doing it correctly. When you brace like that, you're pushing the abdomen into the belt so nothing can herniate from the abdomen through the belt. You're also, that internal pressure also pushes backward against the discs and keeps pressure there and protects them really well. There's an important point here to make about the shape of the belts. I used this type of belt for a long time when I first started lifting and hurt my back with it, but the purpose of the belt is to push your stomach against the front of it. That activates the belt, so it doesn't make a lot of sense to me to have a skinny or thinner part in the front compared to in the back. It makes more sense to me, if you're going to get a belt, get one that has equal size in the front, if not big in the front and the same in the back.
I think there's other aspects of this too. Number one is, if you're going to have a belt failure, where's it going to fail at? It's going to fail where it's thinnest, right? So this is where you're more prone to tear the belt. The other issue is, because it's not the same in the back, width as it is up front, it actually ends up becoming a fulcrum that forces you to lean forward into flexion. That's where you're going to end up getting a disc injury. So I think it's more essential that you really consider having a belt that is the same width and thickness all the way through. So when do you wear a weightlifting belt?
So the ideal times to think about wearing a belt is during big compound movements. And the first one of those that comes to mind, of course, is the squat. The squat is notorious for causing lower back injuries and therefore the best time to be wearing a belt. We'll talk more in the video about when and what weight to do that. The next major movement is, of course, the deadlift. The deadlift isolates the lumbar spine is another time when you want that protection. And very similar to the deadlift is the good morning. The good morning, once again, isolates the lumbar spine more so maybe even than the deadlift does. So that's another time where you want that added protection. The next type of exercises would be anytime you have a sustained bend. So when you're bending over doing, for instance, a bent over rows is seen, or you're doing T-bar rows, or say dumbbell rows, or dumbbell rear delts. These are all movements where you're sustained in a bending position. That's another time where you want to be using the belt.
So Dan, when in the workout do you start wearing a weightlifting belt, and how much do you wear it?
That's a good question. You can actually wear your weightlifting belt too much. If you do that, your body will become dependent on the belt. It'll actually make your core weaker. So that's a big no-no. You don't want to do that. We start wearing our weightlifting belt in the middle of our warm-up. So we'll start warming up without the belt, and then when we start doing work sets, we might do one last warm-up set with the belt, then we start doing work sets, put the belt on.
There are many different features to weightlifting belts. To the average user, it may not matter, but we're going to go over the ones that do now.
Okay, one of the important features is shape. We've discussed this a little bit, but there's basically two shapes to weightlifting belts. There's a tapered belt, and then there's the powerlifting style belt. The tapered belt is bigger in the back and smaller in the front. And I've mentioned before, I think this is a waste of money. I don't think that this has been developed by somebody who knows how to use a weightlifting belt. This belt will cover your needs from the front and the back. Same size throughout. That's the shape you need.
Material. There are various materials used in making belts. Some of these are polyester multiply material. Some of these are made from a canvas type material like this one. Some of them are made from very thick leather, hewn and made into multiple layers. We really feel like the best belt is going to be the thicker one that's actually going to be less giving, because it gives you something that you can actually lock your abs into, and you can go ahead and preload prior to doing your lift.
Buckles, so there are three fasteners of weightlifting belts, three types of fasteners. There are buckle belts, there are lever belts, and there are Velcro belts. The buckle belts, you can either get a single or double prong. The difference is the double prong is going to give you a little bit more support in the front. It's just a little bit more rigid, just coming from personal use. The advantage of the buckle belt like this is longevity. These belts will last forever. They never break down. There's nothing that ever happens to them. The disadvantage with buckle belts is getting in and out of them quickly. They can be difficult to get in and out of. If you have a lot of equipment on underneath, like a squat suit, these are tricky. They can hinder you. Another fastener type belt is a lever belt. These are newer compared to buckle belts. The lever belt is a step up in tightness and rigidity. And one of the reasons is because of the nature of the way that the lever belt covers a certain section with metal. And so this part is extra rigid. The advantage of the lever belt is how quickly you can get in and out of it. So the lever belt has a lever fastener. It's really quick, boom, on and off. You want to take it off really fast, you're out of it. If you were to ask me what is the tightest, most rigid belt you can get, I would say a lever powerlifting belt. If you want the tightest belt possible, it's a lever belt. The Velcro belt, the advantage of a Velcro belt is customizability. With the buckle and lever belts, you have to go with where the manufacturer puts the holes. So it may not match up exactly as you need it, unlike a Velcro belt that can customize to precisely the amount of. The problem with Velcro belts is Velcro wears out. Velcro wears out, and once this Velcro has worn out, this belt is useless. It's no good. They won't last as long as these other belts.
Thickness matters. When we're talking about leather belts come in 10 millimeter or 13 millimeter in thickness. The thicker belt actually is just simply one more layer of leather. The thicker belt is really used for extreme athletes, people that are competing at high level, and definitely for those that happen to be going for goals.
Here's what we recommend. We recommend the powerlifting style belt that has the same width all the way through. If you can get double or single stitching, I would get double. It just lasts longer. For the thickness, I would choose for recreational and even early competition. If you're into that, then I would choose the 10 millimeter. If you get more serious about competition, want a more rigid belt, you can get 13, but I would shoot for 10. I personally like the buckle belt just because it's so simple and you don't have any problems with it and it lasts so long. I like the double prong probably best, but honestly the prong belts versus the lever is something that you may want to have to try and see which one that you prefer. I personally like the buckle better. The company that we like the best is called Inzer, I-N-Z-E-R. We are an affiliate, Amazon affiliate for them. And so if you want to buy a belt, please use our link below. That helps our channel and helps us put out more good content like this. Inzer belt, this is what we use.
Hopefully this video was very helpful. Best thing you can do to support a YouTube channel is several things. Number one, hit the like button in the bottom. Number two, if you would, go ahead and hit the subscribe button as well. And next to that, you'll notice there's a notification button. That makes sure that as we put out new content, which we do weekly, you won't miss any of our upcoming videos that will be coming out. If you found anything that you had questions about or you'd like further clarification on, or maybe there's something you'd rather see content-wise, please include that in the comments. And if you need to reach us for any other purpose, we can be reached directly at info@twofitdoctors.com. Thanks for checking us out.